Hello and welcome to Dinar Shift. The atmosphere crackling across the entire Dinar community is one of electrifying, almost unbelievable anticipation, and it all revolves around one truly extraordinary claim: that everyday investors, those who have held their position for years, are suddenly waking up to find themselves as millionaires. This isn't just quiet chatter, this is an explosion of rumors, screenshots, and frantic group messages, spreading with the speed of a digital wildfire, injecting a potent mix of hope, confusion, and raw excitement that the community hasn't collectively felt in quite some time. Whether you've followed the Iraqi Dinar story closely for a decade, you're simply a fascinated observer of global currency movements, or you're one of the many hoping for a significant change, this current surge demands your undivided attention right up to the final moment. Understanding the anatomy of this frenzy is crucial, not just for grasping the community's emotional state, but also for grounding oneself in factual information and avoiding any missteps amidst the rising tide of speculation. Rumors possess a remarkable, self-sustaining energy, and right now, the Dinar investment world is vibrating like a perfectly tuned, high-tension wire. For those who have invested, based on the long-term potential of the Iraqi economy, this moment is being hailed as the culmination of years of unwavering patience. Yet, an equally vocal segment views it as simply another recurring cycle of unverified hype, a temporary spike in excitement that historically fades just as quickly as it appears. Our mission today is to methodically dismantle these claims, separating the loud, passionate noise from the verifiable facts, presenting a clear, objective analysis so that every one of our viewers can confidently draw their own informed conclusions. This requires a calm, evidence-based approach to a highly emotional topic, ensuring we focus purely on the information circulating within the community and the reality outside of it. The central seismic rumor currently shaking the community asserts that the Iraqi Dinar IQD has experienced a monumental currency adjustment, known in the community as a revaluation RV, and that long-term holders are now discovering radically different, potentially life-altering numbers reflected in their financial accounts. These narratives are not confined to a single source but are aggressively circulating across a diverse array of communication channels, encrypted private chats, massive social media pages, and the long-established forums frequented by dedicated investors. Individuals are posting text messages describing unexpected bank balance conversions, while others are sharing accounts of alleged contact from banking institutions, or brief glimpses of new, elevated rates flashing on currency screens before vanishing almost instantaneously. The sheer volume and consistency of these decentralized reports, especially among a population that has been waiting patiently for many years, has resulted in an explosive communal reaction. However, this narrative immediately encounters a significant point of friction. While the palpable excitement and the stream of anecdotal accounts are undeniably real, they are met by an equally important factor: a profound lack of official confirmation. There have been no concrete public declarations from the relevant Iraqi governmental bodies, nor has the nation's central bank issued any statement confirming an overnight monumental change to the currency's official status. Furthermore, the global mainstream financial markets and established exchange platforms do not currently reflect any of the dramatic, seismic shifts being discussed in private chats. This foundational mismatch between fervent community belief and external official data necessitates an approach that is both fully engaged with the circulating stories and absolutely grounded in clear, unbiased caution. The emotional narratives are compelling, but in the world of finance, verifiable facts must always take precedence. To properly weigh the true significance of these claims, it's essential to appreciate the deep historical context of the Dinar investment community. For well over a decade, this community has been dedicated to discussing, studying, and anticipating the potential for a significant revaluation of the IQD. For its supporters, this is not a short-term gamble but a long-view investment strategy, fueled by an enduring hope anchored in Iraq's vast natural resource wealth, the ongoing execution of economic reforms, and the nation's long-term trajectory toward comprehensive post-conflict recovery. Throughout this period, the community has endured countless cycles of excitement, disappointment, rumor, spikes, temporary fades, and subsequent resurfacings. Yet many current investors insist that the tone of the current surge feels qualitatively different, not because of any external official news but because of the sheer, unprecedented volume of internal, personal testimonies claiming to have witnessed something highly unusual. The current sensation is amplified by the sheer quantity of personal accounts, which include shared screenshots, phone-recorded audio, and direct personal testimonies being distributed across hundreds of geographically disparate investor groups. This collective, simultaneous sharing has successfully generated a powerful wave of collective anticipation, making the phenomenon feel massive and pervasive. After such a prolonged period of collective waiting, it is entirely natural for emotional responses to soar. A potent mixture of deep-seated hope and ingrained caution prevails, while belief contends with a healthy dose of skepticism, leading every participant to ask the same critical question: is this, finally, the long-anticipated moment? Whether this specific surge ultimately proves to be correct or incorrect, the sheer psychological and emotional reaction itself provides a profound case study in the power that circulating information can wield when it collides with a decade or more of steadfast, quiet patience. A primary accelerant driving today's widespread frenzy is the architecture of modern social media platforms. Channels like YouTube, along with encrypted environments such as Telegram, WhatsApp, and specialized private investor groups, are literally overflowing with posts from users alleging massive overnight returns. Short, rapidly consumed video clips show individuals claiming they simply refreshed a bank application or an online account and suddenly encountered eye-popping, life-changing figures. Other messages allege they receive unexpected notifications or updates from longtime currency dealers or banking contacts. Even though nearly all of these dramatic claims remain firmly unverified by any official source, the blistering speed and relentless repetition with which they are shared generate an overwhelming, persuasive feeling that a major, significant event is definitely unfolding behind the scenes. The psychological effect of this viral spread is profound. Social media algorithms actively promote the most engaging, sensational content, and users instantly share it within their personal networks, causing large communities to amplify the message exponentially. This process rapidly reaches a point where even the most ingrained skeptics begin to privately second-guess their position. The powerful internal question becomes, if this massive number of unconnected people are all claiming to have seen the same thing, is it possible that a hidden truth exists? This is the core psychological dynamic currently in play, where raw excitement demonstrably outpaces factual verification, and communal hope rushes in to fill any evidential voids. For content producers in this space, the responsibility is clear: to meticulously navigate this torrent of information, providing level-headed analysis without either validating unfounded rumors or prematurely extinguishing deeply held hopes. Our focus remains solely on the reported experiences and the circulating atmosphere among investors, while rigidly maintaining a commitment to objective, clear-headed analysis. What truly pushes the circulating rumors into absolute overdrive is the accumulation of personal testimonies from investors who report seeing genuinely unusual or anomalous behavior within their online financial accounts. Certain individuals claim their bank's mobile application temporarily displayed radically different higher currency conversio N values. Others point to currency converter websites that they allege briefly glitched or showed erratic figures before defaulting back to the long-standing established rate. A small number also claim that their familiar local exchange centers have quietly hinted at ongoing rate adjustments, occurring discreetly in the background, out of the public eye. It is an undeniable fact that momentary software glitches are common. Systems undergo updates and financial data often refreshes inconsistently across various digital platforms. This is a normal aspect of financial technology. However, for a community that is already on an intense emotional high alert, and whose members are deeply financially and personally invested in a specific outcome, even the smallest, most routine system irregularity is instantly interpreted as a major, significant signal. Investors begin a frantic process of comparing personal notes, with screenshots being meticulously dissected as if they were conclusive scientific evidence. One faction asserts that these observed numbers absolutely validate their long-term position, while another faction firmly argues that the events are nothing more than simple, easily explained technical misunderstandings. Regardless of which interpretation is favored, the current level of minute, intense communal attention is unprecedented. When every tiny digital fluctuation is analyzed for profound meaning, the circulating rumors gain significantly more weight, volume, and perceived conviction, even in the complete absence of any official, verifiable external statement. Simultaneously, a chorus of voices from the community's most seasoned and experienced investors is urgently advocating for calm and rational perspective. They consistently issue reminders that any actual large-scale currency revaluation would inevitably be announced and implemented through strictly official, established channels, such as formal government statements, central bank press releases, or through the major global financial clearing systems. They strongly caution against making any impulsive, risk-laden financial decisions, such as transferring currency to unfamiliar third parties who promise instant private exchange or falling victim to sudden messages offering exclusive, very important person access to secret rates. These persistent voices of caution are absolutely vital, because when communal excitement reaches a fever pitch, the risk of falling prey to financial exploitation and scams dramatically increases. Tragically, periods of widespread financial confusion and high hope are reliably magnets for individuals seeking to profit by deception. Longtime community members are heavily emphasizing the imperative of verification, the wisdom of patience, and the importance of adhering to proper official financial procedure. They logically explain that if a genuine, impactful revaluation were to happen, it would be neither secretive nor hidden. It would not require special private group access or mysterious pre-arranged appointments. It would ultimately be clearly, publicly, and broadly implemented across all standard financial access points. Their fundamental message is clear. It is fine to enjoy the excitement, but it is critically important to maintain a sense of practical reality and be extremely cautious when dealing with unsolicited offers or unverified claims. A separate, parallel dimension of the current discussion centers on the acknowledged economic progress taking place within Iraq itself. Investors often reference official reports detailing enhanced national infrastructure, reliably increased oil production, the forging of new international trade and financial partnerships, and the ongoing, comprehensive modernization of the nation's financial sector. They argue that these tangible steps fundamentally signal that the country is finally and successfully positioning itself for a substantially stronger, more influential global financial role. Regardless of the current revaluation rumors, these real-world developmental facts hold genuine importance. When a nation achieves a stable financial foundation and sustainable economic growth, its currency can naturally appreciate and strengthen over an extended period, without relying on dramatic instantaneous jumps in value. Supporters of the RV hypothesis view these long-term positive national developments as definitive confirmation of their underlying investment thesis. Skeptics, while often agreeing that Iraq's progress is real and measurable, counter that this gradual economic momentum does not in itself logically justify the sudden, unverified claims of instantaneous millionaire status for investors. Both parties unequivocally acknowledge Iraq's tremendous long-term economic potential, yet they maintain a distinct disagreement regarding the anticipated timeline and the magnitude of any potential currency adjustment. Nevertheless, this shared, intense fascination with the country's financial future is precisely what continues to energize and sustain the entire Dinar community. All participants are closely monitoring the same complex developments, interpreting the signs through their own unique and often contrasting financial lenses. As the current wave of rumors gains momentum, there is a visible trend of individuals actively reconnecting with their old investment circles and groups. Many people who had not actively followed Dinar news for months or even years are suddenly logging back into forums, urgently seeking updates, asking pointed questions, or even sharing old receipts from the initial currency purchase years ago. This phenomenon has become a fascinating wave of profound personal nostalgia mixed with an intense practical curiosity. Veteran community members, those who have remained active since the very beginning, are welcoming the returning crowd but are simultaneously quick to remind them of the countless past cycles of circulating rumors that ultimately faded. The phrase, "we've definitely heard this exact story before," is a common refrain, yet it is often immediately countered with the excited assertion that, but genuinely, this time truly feels different. Human emotion is an enormous, non-financial factor in this entire dynamic. When a community's identity is so intrinsically bonded by a shared long-term hope, every new rumor feels deeply personal, and every circulating message is imbued with significant weight. This deep-seated, shared emotional connection is what sustains the topic's vitality and keeps the conversation active, even when hard, confirming facts remain frustratingly elusive. Many outside observers often express surprise at the powerful, strong reaction of the Dinar community to these circulating rumors. The underlying answer lies in the specific nature of the original investment. For a significant number of these holders, the act of purchasing the currency was never solely about chasing quick, short-term gains. It was instead a profound act of faith in a long-term economic recovery, a belief that a nation actively rebuilding itself from profound conflict could eventually regain its historical financial strength. Over the lengthy course of this investment, the dinar itself evolved into much more than a simple piece of paper. It became a powerful, tangible symbol of patience, resilience, and the possibility of national and personal transformation. This is precisely why the current claims of overnight millionaire status resonate with such powerful emotional force. They speak directly to the promise held through years of quiet waiting. They ignite deeply cherished dreams that many people had learned to tuck away and nearly forget. Whether these specific circulating claims prove to be accurate or not, the sheer, raw emotional reaction from the community is completely understandable. For these investors, this conversation transcends mere money. It is fundamentally about the prospect of radical, life-changing transformation. While one segment of the community is excitedly celebrating the arrival of the rum, Oars, a counterbalancing group, is strongly urging practical, grounded preparation. They are actively reminding people to prepare for potential events based on realistic financial scenarios rather than being driven purely by emotional responses. They actively encourage holders to research and clearly understand potential official exchange procedures, to consult with professionals regarding tax obligations, and to commit to thorough financial planning, even in the complete absence of any official confirmation. Their logic is sound and simple, regardless of whether the current rumors eventually prove to be true or false. Being thoroughly informed and prepared is always a beneficial position. They point out that should a genuine, unexpected revaluation occur, having a pre-established, informed plan would decisively prevent costly, panicked mistakes. These prudent voices are specifically emphasizing the critical importance of seeking advice from certified, established financial professionals and not relying on the sensational claims of anonymous online personalities. Furthermore, they are strongly advising against making any major, irreversible life decisions, such as precipitously resigning from employment, liquidating established retirement accounts, or purchasing high-value assets, based solely on circulating, unverified rumors. These foundational reminders are essential for anchoring the current excitement in a necessary framework of personal and financial responsibility, which is the single most important factor for investor safety during periods of high speculation. As the current wave of speculation continues to amplify, another significant psychological factor actively enters the broader conversation: the pervasive fear of missing out, or FOMO. When people hear a steady stream of dramatic personal stories about others allegedly becoming millionaires overnight, the absence of solid proof often fails to dampen the strength of the emotional trigger. Some investors who chose to sell their dinar years ago are now publicly expressing deep regret, wishing they had demonstrated greater patience and held onto their currency longer. Conversely, those who still hold their currency find themselves obsessively checking every single financial detail multiple times per day. Even individuals who have never invested in currency before are suddenly compelled to learn more, wondering intensely if they should rapidly jump into the market now before it is ostensibly too late. This type of fear-based FOMO is an extremely powerful emotional force, and it inevitably generates its own reinforcing momentum. People begin to analyze every single circulating rumor as if it might be the sole cryptic key to unlocking a major immediate financial change. However, it is fundamentally important to grasp that decisions driven primarily by fear, anxiety, or excitement are the most common source of financial error. The healthiest, most sustainable way to navigate this volatile period is by maintaining a calm, objective observation, diligently gathering every piece of information, and maintaining an acute awareness of both the widespread excitement and the sobering financial reality. The Dinar community is currently overflowing with nervous, vibrant energy, but this energy brings with it a significant pressure, and managing that pressure wisely remains the safest, most informed strategy. One of the most defining and dramatic characteristics of the current situation is the sharp division that has emerged within the community itself. On one side of this divide stand those who are entirely convinced that a historically significant event is unfolding in secret, behind the scenes. They firmly believe that the Millionaire claims represent an early small-scale rollout of a new official rate, or that certain privileged individuals are seeing updated account numbers well in advance of the general public. On the opposite side are the more experienced, sober observers who are constantly reminding everyone that zero official policy or rate changes have been announced and that truly extraordinary, life-altering claims absolutely require an equally extraordinary, solid foundation of evidence. This fundamental split is fueling intense debates across social media comment sections, encrypted group chats, and live video streams. These debates can occasionally escalate into genuinely heated arguments because both sides possess deeply held convictions. The believers resist having their intense hope dismissed as delusion, while the skeptics are vehemently opposed to the possibility of others being financially misled. Yet, even within this significant disagreement, a crucial commonality stands out. Both groups are fundamentally committed to uncovering the truth beneath the emotional layer. Both the believers and the skeptics desire definitive clarity and an equitable outcome, and this shared overarching desire is the powerful force that continues to bind and sustain the community, even as their immediate interpretations and opinions sharply clash. Another essential perspective on this unfolding story originates from outside the immediate dinar investment world. Many mainstream financial analysts view the circulating claims with a mix of academic curiosity and professional caution. They are quick to point out that large-scale currency revaluations are historically processes that adhere to very specific identifiable patterns, which typically include clear, unambiguous government announcements, substantial national policy shifts, and explicit coordination with international financial bodies. Crucially, they note that none of these definitive and necessary public indicators are currently present in the marketplace. However, these same analysts also acknowledge the fundamental economic reality that nations can and often do experience a gradual legitimate currency strengthening over time, particularly as they successfully rebuild and stabilize their core economies. This acknowledgement means that a basis for rational long-term optimism regarding the Iraqi dinar's future value can exist, even without necessitating a sudden dramatic overnight change. Nevertheless, financial experts consistently issue a strong warning: rumors, regardless of how pervasive they become, must never be mistaken for confirmed, verifiable facts. They strongly encourage all investors to prioritize reliance on official government-issued data and the information available through established, recognized financial systems, rather than allowing their decisions to be swayed by viral, unverified social media posts. The professional message is unified and clear: hope is a natural human emotion, but all financial and investment decisions must be logically grounded in verifiable, objective reality. Back inside the epicenter of the Dinar community, the level of excitement continues to swell as the number of new anecdotal stories seemingly multiplies by the hour. Some users are sharing video snippets where they claim bank tellers or contacts subtly hinted at major upcoming changes. Others post messages claiming to have received private, explicit confirmations from alleged unnamed insiders. Still others are posting highly emotional celebratory messages proclaiming, for example, "We finally made it," or "The long wait is officially over." These powerful, emotional outbursts are incredibly significant because they clearly illustrate how profoundly this long-term investment is intertwined with deeply personal aspirations and dreams. For a jury, at many holders, the dinar represents far more than just financial capital. It symbolizes the hope of freedom from debt, the chance to finally provide a better life for their families, or the possibility of initiating an entirely new, unburdened chapter in their lives. It is this profound emotional subtext that explains why the rumor of a sudden dramatic spike in value sparks such an intense passion. It acts as a release valve for years of silent hope and unspoken financial stress. Regardless of whether the circulating rumors are based on fact or pure speculation, the resulting emotional outpouring is intensely real and tangible, and it serves as a powerful testament to the collective weight of responsibility and hope that this community has been patiently carrying on its shoulders for so long. Another critical conversation taking place right now focuses entirely on investor safety. Whenever community excitement reaches this heightened and sustained level, individuals engaged in fraudulent activity quickly and aggressively mobilize. Reports are surfacing of investors receiving sophisticated fake bank emails, suspicious phone calls from unknown numbers, and private messages offering exclusive secret exchange opportunities. Some of these predatory actors falsely claim to be government officials, while others allege they represent non-existent special exchange programs. Long-time, established investors are now actively stepping forward to vigorously warn newcomers that legitimate banks would never utilize private messaging for the communication of major, official currency changes, and no reputable financial institution would ever solicit sensitive personal information through unverified digital channels. The act of protecting oneself requires maintaining a fundamentally calm, skeptical approach and a high degree of awareness. The advice is simple: never, under any circumstances, hand over your currency to any individual who claims they can execute an exchange for you early. Never transmit personal identification documents to strangers encountered online, and never place trust in dramatic, life-changing promises that mandate absolute secrecy. Any genuine official financial change of this magnitude would be inherently public, transparent, and universally accessible to every holder, not hidden away behind a veil of private, mysterious invitations. As all these diverse conversations and counter-conversations unfold simultaneously, one thing remains perfectly clear: the Dinar investment community is significantly more engaged and active today than it has been in many years. People are actively reconnecting with old acquaintances, sharing personal memories of past rumor cycles, comparing old, long-forgotten predictions, and discussing the vast amount that has changed since their original investment date. Some recall purchasing the Dinar during periods of intense, widespread optimism, while others bought quietly during more subdued years, banking on long-term, gradual growth. All of them now find themselves in the eye of arguably the loudest, most sustained rumor surge the community has ever collectively experienced. This heightened level of widespread engagement perfectly demonstrates the powerful social and psychological force that shared stories and collective anticipation can create. The dynamic transcends mere money. It is fundamentally about the feeling of belonging to a cohesive group that uniquely understands and shares the exact same complex journey. One of the more psychologically fascinating aspects of this current surge is the intense, almost manic degree to which community members are now interpreting every small sign as a major signal. A minor, routine banking software update might be instantly construed by some as definitive proof that a major shift is imminent. A momentary delay in a website's data refresh becomes accepted evidence for others. Even small, casual comments made by minor officials are now sparking long, elaborate threads of intense analysis. This kind of hyper-focused attention is a common and predictable feature in any community that has waited for a single significant event for such a prolonged duration. Every minute detail suddenly feels deeply meaningful because every participant is actively and urgently searching for confirmation of their hopes. However, it is essential to remember that not every fleeting technical glitch or system delay is necessarily the harbinger of a major event. Technical issues happen every day. Banking systems constantly undergo updates, and currency data can refresh at different rates across various global platforms. Observation is certainly wise, but quickly jumping to definitive conclusions can easily generate unnecessary and counterproductive stress. Another powerful driving force behind today's pervasive excitement is the profound act of personal storytelling. Investors across the community are actively sharing their personal, intimate narratives about the core reasons they initially chose to invest in the dinar. Some articulate a deep-seated desire to secure a fundamentally better future for their children. Others describe making the investment during difficult, challenging chapters of their lives, holding on to the hope that the currency might one day appreciate and help them completely rebuild their financial footing. These personal human stories add a crucial emotional depth to the circulating rumors. They successfully transform what would otherwise be a dry, purely financial discussion into a powerful collective human experience, imbued with profound hope, occasional pain, and immense resilience. When an individual has maintained a strong, committed belief in something for many consecutive years, that narrative becomes intrinsically woven into their personal identity. This deep resonance is the ultimate reason why the Millionaire claims are spreading with such speed and conviction. The core idea perfectly aligns with people's most private and powerful dreams. Understanding this emotional context is the absolute key to understanding the entirety of the community's collective reaction. While the excitement remains highly contagious and powerful, a growing number of influential voices are actively calling for a necessary return to patience and a balanced perspective. They are reminding everyone that long-term investment journeys are frequently characterized by cycles of rumors that inevitably rise and fall. They strongly encourage individuals to actively enjoy the community's energy and camaraderie, but to steadfastly avoid rushing into any irreversible financial decisions. Their collective counsel suggests diligently tracking only official updates, continuously learning the basics of sound financial management, and committing to practical, responsible preparation, rather than being driven by the current emotional high. This balanced, measured approach serves to introduce a much-needed stability right into the heart of the current uncertainty. These steady voices reassure newcomers, temper the most extreme speculations, and consistently keep the overall conversation logically grounded. In a moment so heavily saturated with emotion, balance effectively acts as the single most important tool for achieving true clarity. It is also vital to project our focus toward the future, because irrespective of whether the current wave of rumors proves to be factually true or false, the dinar community will undeniably continue its evolution. Investors will remain focused on meticulously tracking Iraq's ongoing economic progress, closely studying any relevant global economic shifts, and continuously discussing the full range of potential long-term outcomes for the currency. New members will inevitably join the ranks, and old members will return once again. The conversation is a living, continuous entity. This current, powerful surge of rumors, whether ultimately accurate or not, will undoubtedly be remembered as another significant, shaping chapter in the community's long-running story. Moments of high drama such as this powerfully define the identity of the group. They serve as a sharp reminder to all participants of why they originally joined, what their deepest hopes are, and the profound sense of connection they share with countless others traveling the exact same complex investment path. As we bring this comprehensive, deep analysis to a close, it is important to fully acknowledge the powerful foundational role that hope plays in this entire saga. Hope is the enduring quality that enables people to persist through years of uncertainty. Hope is what compels them to check for updates, even when weeks pass with no significant official changes. Hope is the catalyst that creates friendships, fuels passionate discussions, and forms these resilient, enduring communities. However, hope must be consistently and consciously paired with a vigilant sense of awareness and realism. Today's widespread millionaire rumors may ultimately turn out to be nothing more than technical misunderstandings, system glitches, or simple miscommunication. Alternatively, they may reflect something genuine that will only be officially clarified in the coming days or weeks. For the present moment, no one possesses definitive, verifiable knowledge. Therefore, the healthiest and most sustainable approach is to remain intensely curious but deeply cautious, excited about the possibility but constantly alert to the current reality. Trust information, not emotion. Commit to verifying every claim before reacting, and consciously remember that disciplined, responsible financial planning will always hold more intrinsic value than any sudden, impulsive decision driven solely by anxiety or high excitement. So, what is the single most important takeaway from this massive, ongoing rumor surge? The Dinar community is unquestionably alive, highly energized, and significantly louder than it has been in many years. Anecdotal stories of sudden millionaire conversions have effectively captured the global attention of investors, propagating hope, confusion, and widespread debate among thousands of participants. Yet, until clear, authoritative, and official confirmations are publicly issued, these remain firmly in the category of rumors, not established facts. Approaching this entire situation with a consistently balanced, measured mindset remains the wisest and safest personal choice. Stay thorough. Ugly informed, practice unwavering patience, and keep yourself logically grounded. Whether these claims eventually fade into history or successfully evolve into something more concrete, the single best action you can take is to approach every piece of information responsibly. Celebrate the collective community energy, but make sure you are actively protecting yourself from the ever-present threat of misinformation. Enjoy the vibrant excitement, but remain keenly aware of the financial and political reality. And above all, never lose your vital sense of objective clarity as you continue to navigate this truly unique and passionate investment journey.